Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is August 20th, 2021. This is episode 395. The Cimmerian, the Man-Eaters of Zamboula. That's the comic we're looking at today. This is coming out from Ablaze. It's the number 2 and final issue. It was just a 2-issue arc on this. It is part of the Robert E. Howard Savage Hero Uncensored line. So, even though it is Conan, because the rights are given right now to Marvel, they can't use it in the title here. I believe that's the way it works, but they can use it in the text of the book, and because it's in the public domain. And maybe Ablaze has something special going on with Robert E. Howard too, because they're actually reprinting the story along. Look at that. They put the whole frickin' short story in there, or at least the half that pertains to this book in the back. And that's what makes this a good value. Now, I did like the story in here a lot, but I have some issues with it. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, the cover, obviously, things are foreshortened here. And the blade, since it's so close to our faces, is huge in this. And just, it's a nice drawing here. I'm assuming this is like swirling sands around him or something into that aspect. I'm not quite sure, or apparitions or something. But there were some things that did happen in this book, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. Let's take a quick look to see who worked on it. This is the third arc that I have reviewed in the Cimmerian line. The first one's the Frost Giants. The second one, oh man, I can't remember, but I did like it. And all three have had different teams on them. So we get a quick little blurb here, and also a quick little blurb about Robert E. Howard and Conan, and this one's about the story that took place in the first issue. And artist is Jess. I'm not sure which one it is. The letterer is Desi Ciente. The cover artist is V. Cimmerian. Maybe this is for all the different variants that are out on this. Let's just think that. And take a quick look at that cover again. Well, there is a cover gallery in here. We'll take a look at that as well later. Okay, so the Man-Eaters of Zamboula, part 2 of 2. So it's going to finish up here. I don't know if you can see this, but there's kind of this image of a skull in here, just very faint. Now, I had the same issue with the first number 1 issue with the issue. It was just really hard when they went to this monochrome to make out details. And these drawings are highly detailed, and I really like that. But sometimes it's just too much of one thing, and this isn't too bad. But like, you might not know it, but there's actually soldiers walking by back here. And first I thought it was just decoration on the wall, but there are some kind of soldiers walking by there. And it's just little things like that. Now, Zabini, this is the woman here, is not wearing any clothes. If you remember, she escaped in the first issue, and she has no time to get clothes on her because they're on a mission and they got to take it off, which is fine with me. Again, here you've got like this monochrome, and it's just a little tough to make things out what's going on in here. If like there's something in here we're supposed to see, or if these things are real or not. Apparently they're statues, but they're drawn so well. I'd just like to see it lit up a little better, so you get a little better contrast. These are really hard to see. You look at this, what am I know that's someone's head. Is that a hand there, or is just, it turns out it's like it's this muscular shoulder, and it kind of goes through there like this in parts where just really hard to make things out. Other times it's not too bad. Obviously they're going to this temple, and there's this big statue here of this man-eater. So they're basically they've rescued what they think is the priest. I believe that's what he is. But he's kind of like insane right now. And there's going to be a twist on this. And so they're going after, well, to kill the main guy that's kind of doing all the bad things, making the sending out the man-eaters at night to kill travelers that come and visit at the thing so they could rob their belongings and goods. And they burn the remains of the corpse in a pit outside. So they make their way into this inner sanctum to where they meet the sorcerer here. And he's got many names. I can't go through them all here, but or remember them all in the top of my head. But he's got many names. And he starts doing his spell things on Conan. And the coloring here is nice. Now I can kind of really see what's going on without a lot of issues. And he opens up some kind of portal that sucks Conan through and up against a giant beast. And he's able to slay this beast as it comes past, as he dodges out of the way. It looks like a big dog or something. And then he's got like the apparition of the sorcerer there. He chops off the head, but the head attacks him. Kind of flies at him. He casts it away, and then he is back in the tents, or the inner sanctum suddenly. And his sword gets pulled down and adheres to a table there. It turns out it's like magnetic, and he can't release it at this time. So the big sorcerer here, who's kind of running the whole man-eater scheme, starts choking Conan. And Conan actually, at some point, fights back and is actually able to break his neck. So Conan is off to find his naked woman, and she's dancing for someone here, and she's got to dance a certain way or else these cobras are going to get her. So she's dancing around, and they're talking back and forth. And this goes on for a while. Conan shows up. He's actually sneaks in behind this sorcerer, puts the sword right through his head, and the snake apparitions disappear. So she takes him back to the main tent, and this is where she kind of lowers the boom, because he thinks he's going to win her as a slave. Turns out she's actually a queen. She was disguising herself as a slave woman so that she wouldn't meet a bad end like the other one did. They've got the potion that they took from the sorcerer. They put that on the priest. The priest turns out to be her husband. So there's going to be nothing for Conan in this bargain at this time. She promises something else. She says, yes, I deceived you, but they still have to get the ring. So they go running off together to get this ring. And he goes in and takes out the last remaining person that supposedly would have this ring here. And see, again, it gets really hard to see here. You're just kind of going by the dialogue. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm looking at right here. And it turns out Conan had the ring all along, and he has no intention of returning back to the queen, that he was able to sneak it away earlier. And they give this kind of whole thing here. And that's when this text came in handy, because I was able to fill in stuff I couldn't see by reading some of the text here. So I love the story. I did not like how hard it was to read. This is the second book in a row. Resilient, I reviewed that today, and that was really dark too. But it had different issues than this one. This one's just really hard to see what's going on. Very, very difficult. And the art, is really nice. It's just that this coloring is just too saturated in one hue, just too monochrome. So I'm going to recommend it because the story is good, and they do give you the backup pages to read so you can figure it out. And the art is good, but boy, the coloring really hard. I mean, if it was like this, it'd be fine, but it's not, obviously. So with that said, here's our cover gallery of some of the other covers that were available for this issue. And they're also announcing the next one, the Cimmerian Beyond the Black River. This is the next issue. I don't know if it's going to be a team we've seen before on this or a new team, but I'm going to check it out because I am enjoying these the Cimmerian stories. They're pretty action-packed. They're real page turners. This one's a little difficult because, like I said, it's just hard to see at times what I was looking at. And as always, Ablaze puts a little blurb from the book on the back cover. Who do you think I am? I will not fail. So that's Conan telling this slave that actually is a queen. So let's go ahead and give this the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval, given out only by Indie Comics Jones on this particular channel, except no substitutes. Thank you very much for stopping by and watching this review. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't, and you can leave comments if you like. We'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu. More comics to come.